Good day, comic legends. Today I'm just going to show you guys how to prepare comics for signature. With the signature thing, we are running on Grey Lanterns Australia. Quite a few people asked. I do it on their behalf, which is fine, but also how do you do it and how do you best make sure that you don't damage your books, you make good provision for it, blah, 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 blah. And instead of sending 20 photos, which I have done, I think moving forward, I'll just do this video and I can just link to it next time around, right? So the first thing you need to consider is tools, what you're going to use for labeling, for making the windows, for protecting the book and everything else, right? And before I get into that, I'm going to tell you what not to use. Like a lot of people I've seen use normal electric tape, like this, so these type of tapes, or just sticky tape, right? Now, technically you can use it, but the risk in it is these retain moisture, right? So because it's not absorbent, it always stays sticky. So it could move on the sleeve, it could rub, and the stickiness remains, and that stickiness rubs off on the comics. I've seen it happen, it's shit house, and you can't get rid of it because it's almost like sticker residue. So do not use electrical tape or whatever you call this, crappy plastic tape. And the drawback of using magic tape or sticky tape is it's not really visible on an invisible sleeve. So I've seen, I think it was 2019 Sydney Supernova, where Ramos signed over tape because he didn't see that that's the end of the sleeve. It's a fucking honest mistake, but at the same time, whoever's book that is will suffer the consequences of having it signed by Humberto Ramo instead of Ramos, right? So make sure you use tape that's visible. I like using two different types, just masking tape. They come in different colors. People tend to use the blue ones quite a bit. I'll get into it. And the white ones. Now, the reason I have different colors are some of them stand out better on the color of the cover and makes it more obvious as to where the signature should be. So yeah, these tape, masking tape, you get the beige one, you get the blue one, you get multicolored ones, but always keep in mind the color of the comic, so it doesn't blend too much and stands out, and make sure that you show people where it's at, right? So that's pretty much it for tools. From a cutting perspective, obviously, don't use scissors because it's going to fuck up the sleeve. Just use Stanley knives. I use this one on skateboard decks and comic boxes and everything, so it looks like it's been through the wars, but I bet it for about 20 years, it works well. And then pens, right? Essentially what you're going to do once you've done the windows is write who you want the signature on. So if you have multiple signatures, obviously you want to make sure that the right people sign in the right places. And again, use pens that are absorbent, non-smudge, non-smear. You don't want to risk the comic. Same with normal pens. So I use thicker ones depending on the thickness of the windows, and thinner pens for thinner windows. I'll show you the outcome. So the end result should be, and we'll do a how-to anyway. End result should be something like this. So what I've got here is the comic protected in the sleeve. So what this does is make sure there's no cover rub on top of the exposed areas, because obviously if you ship multiple comics or put cardboard on it, there's still risk of exposure and rub there because there's no protection there. So what I tend to do is I put it in a sleeve that's not taped together, so they can just pull it out. So last thing you need to do is make their lives difficult. The guys who are prepping the comics, ask Jay Johnson, hey mate, is make their life difficult by having tape on sleeve and sleeve. So they should just be able to pull this out, because essentially all you're really doing with this one is protecting the exposed areas. This is the money one, right? Windows in, you can see the names written on there. So the top one's Mike Zick, smaller one is John Beatty, and Jim Shooter at the bottom. Now, these are already done. Things that you need to consider from an aesthetics perspective. Obviously, size of signature. Mike Zick likes doing big, sexy ones, so gave him a big, sexy space at the top. his signature tends to be just a squiggle with his surname. And Jim Shooter does sometimes Jim, sometimes Shooter, but he does the elongated thing, so I gave him a long space. Now, the worry that you tend to have with these is obviously the backing board's bigger than the comic, and the comic moves left to right. So make provision for the fact that the comic could move left to right and it doesn't obstruct something that you want signed on, and it doesn't actually expose edges. Same as at the bottom, man. I'm always a bit weary of doing this, so I actually double tape around the edge. You don't want the comic page getting stuck there and hooking to this. So never get too close to the bottom, and make sure the comic's protected at that area. So that's pretty much it. So once you're done, you write who you want to sign on where, and you put your details at the back. Just be as comprehensive as possible. Don't be fucking lazy. Put your name, your surname, your email address, your phone number, your Twitter account, fucking everything. If they need to get in contact with you for a book, for a reason, make sure they can. So pop this one away, and then I'll do one, because the trick's also, many people try and do the right thing, but the wrong way around. So, marking the sleeve without the comic in it, or people try and write the names on the sticky tape while the comic's in the bag, so you risk, especially with ballpoint pens, imprints on the comics, right? You don't want any of that shit happening. So I'll go through the process of how to do this, how to make sure it's safe, how to make sure the comic's protected, and so forth and so on. Which comic will I use? So I'm going to do 252. I think this is just going for one signature, so it should be quick and easy. So I'll take it out of the bag, and also about that, I'll show you during the process anyway. So let's not go there. Take it out of the bag. So bag's open. Now I've got to determine where do I want the signature. If I just want one signature with the best placement, you don't want the risk of black pen on black. Stanley did that a lot, where you say Lee or Stan and nothing else. So consider the colors again, and because this is a darker color, I'm going to go with the beige tape, so it stands out quite well, right? So first thing I'll do is just move the camera. Nice and center. There you go. First thing I do is, like, where do I want the signature? There's obviously writing. There's writing over there. There's blacks. There's different colors. So where would it pop the best? And I take it from there. So for me, because the Amazing Spider-Man's white, and they tend to sign with nice big pens, I'll say I want it right over the Amazing Spider-Man, because that's going to pop pretty nice. So I put the tape where I want it. So the tape's obviously not going to compromise the comic on the inside. And it's all preference, right? Some people like the smaller signatures and neater places. Some people like the sexy gold pen over the black. For me, I like the simpler colors where it just pops out. All right. So, and if you Google it, people tend to have thought about it already. So if you're going for a signature from a certain creator on a book that's popular, chances are it's been done. So go for it. Google, get the good ideas, and then you take it from there. Right, so I'll take the book out. So that leaves me with a backing board with no book in. There's actually two backing boards from the looks of it. Backing board with a book in. And that means I can safely cut that frame out because there's nothing in there. The backing board will, don't press too hard. The backing board will protect you from going straight through. Standing knife should be sharp so it doesn't hook. There you go. Bada boom, bada boom. So the little window, what I used to do, and Jay Johnson laughed at it, is I just slightly tape it back so it kind of protects the book, right? So you have a little piece of tape there and creates a little flap. It's good, but it's bad, especially the guys. You've got to think the guys prepping the book for signature. Sometimes it's a production line of books, and yeah, you don't want it to go to be the blocker, right? Yeah, so it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Anyway, so after that, like, put them side by side, make sure, yep, that looks good. And then I'm like, all right, so I want Mr. Jim Shooter to sign this for me. These pens are great, right, because it pops and stands out. Being lighter color, you can actually use a ballpoint, so I'll go with a ballpoint. It gives me more leverage and more space. And also, these, make sure if you're left-handed, don't fucking smudge it. So say, for Jim Shooter signature. Now, the funky part about this is how often do you get to talk to these guys? How often do you have them as a captive audience? So be cheeky, be silly. You can write hi from Australia, good day from Grail Hunters, love your mother, whatever. And you've got the space there. And if you want to remark, this is also probably a good opportunity to say, write to Neville or whatever, right? So I'm just going to say for Jim Shooter. Signature. Done. So one signature, easy as pie. Take the backing board out and I'll write my name from Neville Howard, address, most of this is captured as part of registration anyway, so this is really the backup plan, right? But it's also for things like Grail Hunters, where I look after books for many people, and I've got 10 copies of Secret Wars 8 or 5 copies of Amazing Spider-Man 252. I know who's who, because what I essentially do when I receive your books is I put a little sticker on the back with a number, and that number becomes a serial number on your label as well. So there's a direct relationship between your book landing, signed, grading, everything. We make sure everything stays true to the owner of the book. I'm left-handed, so most of the time my handwriting's a challenge. Anyway, so that's it. So putting the book back, because of the fact that you've got that sleeve there, this always becomes a little bit risky because you don't want the bottom of the book to catch on that. So what I tend to do is I slide the book in with the sleeve. So I'll place that on the sleeve like that, and then I slide it into the sleeve, right? And then as it goes, I'll just hold the sleeve up to make sure nothing catches and nothing becomes risky. Whoop. There you go. So we've got window cut, who needs to sign it. What I do when I stick on the back is I create that little flap, right? So the book is secure, but it makes it easier for them to take the sticky tape off, because sometimes depending on the tape you use, tape gets fucked, like that little piece that I had over there. So I put this there, which means next time they lift it, they've got that little flap there. So details on the back, easy to open, export the book. Details on the front, windows cut, book secure. And then what I do is I just pop it into, grab another one of these. I pop it into this for protection. And that avoids the color rub or any stress to the book while it's in transit. So you kind of have double protection there. This way around, I can probably ship 15 or 20 books at a time without worrying about the book's integrity and everything being protected well. So that's pretty much it, man. Use the right tools, prep right, don't have the book in the sleeve while you're cutting it, use the right pens, write everything you want on there, on the window, who needs to sign it, and on the back, all your details. And then Bob's your uncle. So pretty good outcome. I hope this helped. It answers a lot of questions, and it'll probably help me next time people ask me to just post the video into Messenger instead of photos and a tutorial. Anyway, thanks for watching. Fucking 15 minutes. I thought it was going to be 5. But yeah, happy hunting and look forward to the signatures for Grail Hunters. Enjoy your day, guys. Bye.